There's nothing more important that you could do in a day than to read, study, learn, absorb, and live by God's Word. Let's talk about it in your morning cup of inspiration. Thanks for joining me. I was reminded of the importance of that as I was reading Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter in my devotions this week. God talks so much about the importance of obeying Him and obeying His commandments, and all that is written in His Word. In the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, that 5th verse, it tells us, love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and strength. So we have to love Him with everything we have. That's one of the commands that's in God's Word. We need to know God's Word. It then goes on in the very next verse. Listen to what it says. It tells us to keep those commandments in our heart, to keep God's Word in our heart. So how do we do it? Funny you should ask. It goes on to explain that too. Impress it on your children. It's our responsibility to share the importance of absorbing God's Word and obeying it to the next generation. And then he says, talk about those commandments constantly. We're always supposed to be having God's Word in the forefront of our mind, talking about it. He says when you sit, when you walk, when you lie down, when you get up. That about covers it, doesn't it? You can't be in much of another position than standing, lying, sitting, or walking. So during all your times, constantly talk about it. Then it says, tie them on your hands. I'm sure that doesn't mean literally, but basically whatever you do, your hands are always in front of you. You're always doing something with your hands throughout the day. And so you need to know God's Word as if that's in front of you all the time. Then it says, bind them on your forehead. I think that's basically for other people to see. You can't see your forehead. So that's for other people to see and reflect that your Word, that God's Word in you is being seen by others. Finally, write them on your door frames and on your gates. All of your coming, all of your going throughout a day, wherever you are, you need to keep God's Word in the forefront. So I would encourage you today, refocus on the importance of sitting down every day, reading, absorbing, memorizing, applying God's Word to your life. There is nothing more important, nothing that brings God more joy than you knowing and obeying His holy Word. God bless. Thanks for joining me for that morning cup of inspiration, and we'll see you next time.